That Christmas Eve, the air in the Winter Crown hung thick with roasted chestnuts, expensive perfume, and the sharp metallic tang of chilled champagne as I finished my shift. Crystal chandeliers cast fractured rainbows across marble floors, while laughter bounced off the high ceilings like shattering glass. But in the dim back hallway, where the concrete felt icy through my work boots and the distant clink of silverware faded to a low hum, I found her. A little girl in a soft velvet dress sat curled against the wall, clutching a stuffed rabbit so tightly its fur brushed her cheek. Her shoulders trembled from the overwhelming vibrations of the Gala roaring just beyond the door. I knew that exhausted, overwhelmed look too well. My own son had worn it many nights. So I set my toolbox down with a soft clank, knelt until my knees met the cold floor, and signed hello without a sound. Her eyes widened like dawn breaking, sparkling with sudden light. The hallway smelled faintly of fresh paint and distant garlic bread from the kitchen vents, but right then, it felt like the quietest, safest place in the world. I signed again, slow and clear. Loud in there? She nodded hard, her small hands flying. Too much. I pulled out my notebook, the paper cool and smooth under my fingers, and wrote, "Want to see something cool?" She followed me on tiptoe to the electrical room, where warm air wrapped around us like a hug, and glowing panels hummed softly under my fingertips. I showed her the switches that controlled every light in the restaurant, flipping one with a satisfying click. The hallway outside dimmed like a theater curtain falling. "Magic," I signed. She clapped both hands over her mouth, eyes shining brighter than any chandelier, her laugh bubbling up warm and real. Then my son Owen appeared in the doorway, his sneakers scuffing softly on the concrete. He signed, "Who's this?" and dropped down beside her like they had known each other forever. The three of us sat cross-legged on the floor, the faint buzz of the panels vibrating through our bones, playing cards while the fancy party thundered on without us. For the first time that night, Lila looked like an 8-year-old girl instead of a silent prop. Her laughter shook her shoulders, and the rabbit's soft ears brushed my sleeve as she leaned in close. When Victoria Langford rounded the corner, her sharp heels clicking like accusations against the concrete, the warm light from the room spilled across her face. She froze in the doorway, silk dress whispering against her legs, watching her daughter communicate with more joy and ease than she had seen in years. I watched a powerful woman realize her own child had found connection in a dusty electrical room with a maintenance dad and his deaf son. I offered to keep an eye on her so Victoria could return to her investors. 1 hour, she agreed, but her eyes carried the weight of regret. Later, when the lights flickered and died with a sharp electrical pop, plunging everything into sudden darkness that smelled of ozone and fear, I fixed what I could while Lila and Owen stayed safe beside me, their small hands warm in mine. Victoria saw everything, how her daughter signed freely, how my boy protected her, how an ordinary dad who knew sign language had given her child what money and power never could. The night changed us all. Victoria started learning, really learning, her hands clumsy at first but growing steady. She fired the board member behind the sabotage, secured her company, and slowly became the mother Lila deserved. Now, weeks later, the four of us sit around her dining table, the rich scent of homemade garlic bread filling the kitchen while pasta sauce simmers on the stove. Lila and Owen teach Victoria card games with messy hand signals, their laughter echoing warm and bright. I watch the woman who once ran empires learn that real power is not control. It is connection. It is letting your daughter teach you how to speak her language. It is choosing family over appearances every single time. That Christmas Eve taught me the most beautiful truth I have ever known. Sometimes the most important conversations happen in complete silence, and the best gifts come from the people the world calls ordinary. That Christmas Eve, when the glittering gala buzzed with champagne laughter and clinking crystal that meant nothing to my deaf son Owen or the little girl hiding in the hallway, I knelt on the cold concrete and signed a simple hello. In that quiet electrical room, where the faint hum of panels warmed the air and the scent of garlic bread drifted from the kitchen vents, Lila's eyes lit up for the first time all night. She laughed until her shoulders shook as we played cards on the floor, her stuffed rabbit tucked between us like a silent friend. My heart swelled with a tenderness I had not felt since losing my wife, and in those stolen moments, I learned the deepest truth of my life. Real power is never about money, titles, or control. It is about choosing to speak someone's language when the world has left them silent, even when your own heart is still healing from loss. I had spent years fixing lights and wires for people who never truly saw me, raising Owen alone through sleepless nights and quiet tears, learning that the most important connections happen without sound. Watching Victoria Langford, the powerful CEO, realize her own daughter had found more joy with a maintenance dad and his boy than in her entire empire, cracked something open inside her. I saw the tears she tried to hide, the way her hands trembled as she began learning sign language, clumsy at first, but full of desperate love. She fired the man who tried to sabotage everything and slowly became the mother Lila deserved. Now we sit around her dining table, pasta steaming and laughter echoing warm and bright, while Lila and Owen teach Victoria messy card games. I watch the woman who once ran empires let her daughter guide her hands, and my chest tightens with gratitude every single time. The lesson that still brings tears to my eyes is this. Sometimes, the most important thing you can give is your presence and your willingness to listen in the language that matters most. Kindness spoken without words can heal what power never could. It can turn strangers into family and turn a lonely Christmas into the beginning of forever. If this story brought tears to your eyes or tugged at that quiet place in your heart where you felt unseen, please leave a comment below and tell me. Have you ever felt truly seen by someone who chose to learn your language when the world stayed silent? What moment taught you that real connection is the greatest power of all? Share your story. I read every single one. And if these heartfelt tales of single dads, unexpected second chances, and families built in silence move you the way they move me, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. Your stories keep these journeys alive. Thank you for being here with us.